I'm Dr. Berry, licensed psychologist, and here we talk about psychology and true crime. And sometimes we also talk about things that are happening on social media or in entertainment. And this came up over on TikTok. An individual posted a 20 something part series about falling in love with their psychiatrist, and they have released their name. So anything I'm going to be sharing today, it's things that this individual has publicly released. The one thing I'm not going to do, while I am a psychologist, I am not their psychologist. And so I will not be offering any potential diagnoses. I will talk in general about a diagnosis that can come with a lot of stigma. And if this was my client and my client went viral for this type of situation, I would be encouraging them um to honestly to take it down, because this individual, all of the attention that they're getting, a lot of it is negative. So they are a self-proclaimed ADHD coach, like a spiritual, there's like the spiritual thing. The the things that they're sharing on their lives, if it was my client, I would personally be saying, please stop. But it is what it is. How I came to hear about this, so I was just scrolling TikTok and there was a TikTok about and so there was just some other person that said that was pretending to call into work because they weren't going to be able to work today because they needed to catch up on Kendra's How I Fell in Love with My Psychiatrist. And I was like, I hadn't heard about it. So I saw this other video that was kind of making a joke, so that's where I saw it, and then I went and searched it, and honestly, y'all, I couldn't make it through video 1. In video 1, there were in my observation, it's hard for me to watch people, they call it crash out. Like, it's hard for me to watch people share things like this and it not feel like trauma dumping, or it's just it was a lot. Because if an individual is concerned that a professional had like crossed a boundary or something, in my personal thoughts and opinion, I would recommend that they talk with their new provider and then that they get support if they need to file a formal thing with the ethics board. But honestly, everything I heard, so every recap that I've heard about this, I don't think, I personally don't know that the psychiatrist did anything wrong. I think there are major differences in perception between what this individual thought and what this psychiatrist thought. And honestly, I think this person was trying to go viral so that they could then promote their other services. So they have about, the last time I checked, it was over 40,000 subscribers. So there are people that are watching them. The videos have millions of views. And um because I did cover the Who the F Did I Marry series. That was another series where I watched recaps of it. I could not sit through the entire series, but I watched recaps. And since then, like, she's went on to get different deals, but hers was more of a like, I'm out of it and I'm recovered and I'm healed. And I want to share about my experience so other people don't make the same mistakes I did. Like, I feel like her telling her story, it was from more of a healed place. This is a lot. And that's me being like, it's a lot. Okay. So I have linked this article. So this right here, I have linked it in the description. I'm going to keep it small, but I am going to read from it, because in this, so this is just somebody recapping what happened. And so I'm going to take a look at this recap. And like I said, click on it if you want, because I'm going to skim some things because they're using some words that I personally wouldn't use. And so how it starts with, there's currently a woman on TikTok, Kendra, detailing how she fell in love with her psychiatrist after he, according to Kendra, he manipulated her. It's seriously unhinged and highly controversial. And so far, it's on part 25 and a half. And so and there may continue to be more things that are shared. I do not know what's going to happen. And and so the person writing this article says, "I'm going to break this down so you don't need a therapist of your own after reading this. Jokes aside, everyone should seek therapy, girlies, not just this person." And so that's what this person said. I don't even know that you have to go and watch, like, you can watch recaps of it. So it's on YouTube. So no, no, this isn't, so that's not my understanding of this individual's name. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wrong person. Yeah. Yeah. So I have seen a picture. So I have seen a picture. So I will not be doing that here. And I hope this article doesn't do it either. It's my understanding he looks like he's of Eastern Asian, possibly middle. I don't know exactly what his descent is. He is a person with some melanin, and so it brought up this, so some people have been calling her a Karen. I'm not gonna, but like, her there is power in what she is saying, and from everything I've heard from what she supposedly said, I don't think the guy did anything wrong. I don't think he did anything wrong. Okay, so how did all this start? Okay. So, Kendra is a creator on TikTok, life coach, tutor, yoga instructor. I believe she was recently fired from the yoga studio because during the middle of a yoga class, so she went live in a yoga class and started trauma dumping, I think, about this situation. And like in the middle of teaching yoga, and the yoga studio was like, "We are not affiliated with this." And all of that ended up breaking, all that ended up doing that. Lisa says that Kendra mentioned that he's from Pakistan, um, and she was thinking of converting to, and he might not. So there are individuals from Pakistan that don't practice Islam, but like, so like this is really unhinged. Okay, like this is a lot. It's my understanding that she wore these like turtle glasses to a session, and he just commented like, "Oh, you have different glasses today," or like, "I like your glasses." Like he made some just comment, like she had turtle glasses on, and she wears those glasses sometimes in her live. Like if he sees it, he'll see me in the glasses that he said he liked. Like this is a lot. This is and I haven't even like really cracked it open yet, okay? This gets to be a lot more, okay? How do I find these things? So somebody commented on one of my other videos. I think I was asking for things y'all would like for me to talk about, and somebody was like, "Please talk about the I fell in love with my psychiatrist." So I have a lot of friends on, like, therapist friends on TikTok that have released videos over on TikTok. I personally haven't talked about it over there, and I don't really plan to. I reposted some things, some videos that some of my friends had did that I thought were really good. I honestly, I don't. So even when she describes what happened in session, like what she's describing sounds professional to me, but she takes it in a way that's a it's it, it's an interesting take. Okay, all right. So, though most of her content seems to hinge around helping people with ADHD, that all changed at the start of the month when Kendra unpacked falling in love with her unidentified psychiatrist. And so she, I believe, is removing his name. Like when people do like type his name in the chat or something, it's my understanding that she is removing that. So she didn't dox him, but it wasn't hard. I think they're in like, I don't know, but people ended up finding him. My heart goes out, and I hope he's probably already consulted with his liability insurance wherever he works. They are probably working on how they will handle this, because he can never say that like he was the because that would break. patient-client confidentiality, but if it ever did become a board complaint, or, if she tried to restart services with him or anything, like, it would be like that would be a no, like, no. The practice might even not let her come back to the practice, um, understandably, because it's my understanding that she recorded the sessions, like, the audio of the sessions without his knowledge, which, like, you're not supposed to do. It's a lot. Okay. So, how this all started around 4 years ago, Kendra sought out a new therapist through Google and came across a good looking man around her age. She felt seen as they discussed her past trauma, describing it as a trauma bond that connected them. Soon enough, she was catching feelings for him. Uh, and she confessed her feelings she told him she would pour out love and devotion to him, which that would have been if a client had said that to me. Okay. So we're talking about how Dr. Barry would handle a situation like this. So it's not uncommon for a person to have an attraction to their therapist or to a doctor. Ooh, okay. I don't think my husband watches these. I don't think he's up here. My anesthesiologist when I gave birth, he was handsome. I did not fall in love with, like, he gave me, I had an epidural when I had my son, and he gave me the good stuff, and I was very, very happy. I did not fall in love with him. I did love the fact that he did his job, and he did his job very well, and that was the end of our professional relationship. I do not know his name or any of those things, and okay. Some people intentionally look for a therapist, like, they might be distracted by a therapist that's too attractive or something. I don't know. Like, people think about things like that. And it's normal. Sometimes my own thoughts and feelings can come on to the therapist. So I know my first therapist, I might have had some what we call transference, where she was an older black woman, and I'm really close with my mom, and talking to her, like, I struggled to connect with her, but I connect really easily with my mom. And so sometimes our feelings about somebody else can be put on the the therapist. That would be what transference, no, transference, yes. That's what transference is. Counter transference is when I, as a therapist, let's say I'm working with a child that kind of looks like my child. And if I don't set boundaries with this child, if I'm going above and beyond more than I would ever do for any other client, almost as though I'm treating this individual like they are my child, that would be counter transference. And so that's where you have to be really, really careful. All right. I'm telling you he was I'm sorry. Okay, we're not gonna get distracted. Okay. So, it's not uncommon. And then, so I have had a situation where I recommended that somebody see a male therapist, because when they came in for services, they were going to address one thing, but it seemed like it was turning into more them needing to talk about sex and about things like that, and that's not what I do. So I'm not a sex therapist. If clients are on, like, antidepressants, or if I'm working with, and normally how I'm more comfortable, if there are women with low sex drive, or if there's a difference between drives of partners, I have worked with those situations, but this one situation, it just didn't feel right to me, and I recommended a different therapist for this individual. And there have been other times that situations like that have come up. So if there was somebody reaching out for services, or if a client did say, like, I'm in love with you, I want to pour out all of my love to you, and if I'm like, okay, um so thank you for sharing. So it's an awkward situation to be in. For the therapist. It's awkward because this is a paid relationship, because um and that's why I don't get coffee with clients outside. I do not follow clients on social media. I have some clients that have really cool businesses that I would love to support. Some clients they make things, or they make products that I would buy, but I set that boundary for myself where um I don't become a customer of my client, because that can create some dual roles. I live in a very big area. Now, if I lived in a very small community where where like I'm one of two therapists, and everybody, your kid goes to school with everybody else, and it's a really small community. Sometimes you do have some dual relationships, but you have to talk about it and document it. And the way that you document it, because as a therapist, I always have to make sure that the client doesn't feel manipulated, that they don't feel like they don't drop the price of their services for me just because I'm their therapist. If we ever did barter for services, I do not barter. I accept Stripe, I accept cash. I don't barter. But let's say there was a client that did hair, and a service, because it's on their website, the service costs $1,000, or it costs $500. Then if I was going to say, okay, my sessions cost 175 a session, because you can't drop the price to where somebody is losing out. Like, if the price has to stay the same, it's a whole thing. No special treatment. So that's where so clients have invited me to their graduations. Clients, I don't think I've ever been invited to a wedding, which is okay. um I would, if a client's family reached out. So I've worked with clients um, that were battling illnesses and things. And so if something did happen to the client, and if the family wanted me to be at the service, I don't know, that might be one that I might. It would just kind of depend. But in general, I don't go to clients' birthday parties. Like, that's just, I probably have about 45 to 50 clients. I see about 20 to 30 people a week. And so, like, I wouldn't be able to go to everybody's birthday party. All right. All right. So let me see. Let me see. All right. We're going to keep it going. Oh, this is so much. It's so much. Okay. So, in January of 2023, Kendra talked about her unsatisfying sex life with her boyfriend, confessing her attraction to the psychiatrist, who, in her report, smiled so big at the admission. Those professional boundaries became more and more blurry as the psychiatrist bounced between hot and cold. But so this was her first time seeing a psychiatrist. And so there was another joke over on TikTok where it's like your psychiatrist is out here doing, like, my psychiatrist, when I come in, they're like, how are your meds? Got any symptoms? You feeling like, no, okay. And like, here's refill. I'll see you in 3 months. Like, that's normally how, like, most people, when they meet with their psychiatrist, uh, in my area, they're not having these therapy sessions. And so, like, the hot and cold, him being hot and cold, and that's where I wonder about the perception of what was happening and what was going on. Like, it's like, I think he was just doing his job. Like, maybe he was just friendly. Like, one day he might have smiled, but like, that's because I think in one video she talks about him walking her, like, out walking her out of the session. I do that all the time. Like, sometimes, like, when a client is done with session, I will walk out with them. And sometimes people exit. So my new office, sometimes the bottom door ends up getting locked. And so sometimes I walk down with a client to the main door, because I'm trying to check to make sure that the door stays unlocked. Because what happens, I'll be sitting in the office waiting for somebody to come, and then I get a text message that says the door is locked, and I got to run down to go. So like, the things that were said, it just seems so just. And so, like, normally a psychiatrist, it's normally in our area, it's 10, 15 minutes. He was doing 30-minute sessions with her. It's my understanding that most of them were virtual. When she found out that he did in-person sessions, she specifically asked for one. But to me, that was her wanting a relationship and a connection with him. And he was probably more comfortable seeing it on seeing it virtually. And I heard another psychiatrist talk about that sometimes they'll have the receptionist, they'll get permission from the client to have somebody else sit in on the session if there are boundary issues coming up like this. I've sometimes left the door open, like if there's nobody else sitting out in my old office was perfect for this because there was a main hallway that was locked off where nobody could come back, so I could leave my office door open if I needed to, especially if the person I rented from wasn't there. But there have been times when I've met with younger kids or kids that are explosive, and I will sometimes leave my office door open just so that the parent can kind of, they're not in the session, but they can kind of, because normally that's when I'm doing psychological testing. It wouldn't be a therapy session. If I was doing a therapy session and the client needed total privacy, but maybe I was concerned about some behavior, I might get their permission to bring somebody else into that into that session. Like, it's just so much. So much. And once again, so Kendra has said that she's diagnosed with ADHD and that this was normally her, I think, medical doctor prescribed her medication. This was her first time seeing a psychiatrist, and she wanted for him to do therapy, and he really didn't do that. So, especially when they accept insurance, most psychiatrists don't do therapy. They are trained in how to do therapy, but normally they do med checks, and then 'cause sometimes I think they're paid less for a therapy session than they are for a med check. Probably with the billing, I would guess that a med check, especially that 15, 20-minute one, I'm pretty sure they get paid more for that than a 45-minute therapy session. Oh, and so Dominique, we're not even here yet. We're gonna talk about AI. Oh, good gosh. We're gonna, so y'all, this is where we're going, okay? We're going to the fact that she may think that she's a divine being. Okay. Okay. So, all right, hot and cold. 1 minute confessing that he liked her glasses, which is just confessing that, so that's where I think he just said that her glasses were nice. And then the next minute pointing out that it's only a professional relationship. So to me, hot is not, "I like your glasses." Like what? Like, that's not hot. Hot would be like, I don't know, like, that hot would be inappropriate. "I like your glass," like, I've told clients, like, "Oh," like, especially if they look really cute that day, or like I've complimented clients before, um that would let me know, like, if they didn't, if that wasn't, if they weren't okay with that. But normally it's like, because I have one that dresses amazing all the time. And I was like, your fashion is amazing. I would love to see your closet. Like, but that wasn't hot. Like, that was just like, I like your clothes. Like, that's it. Like, that wasn't like that's the example of hot. That's where I don't think this guy did anything wrong. I don't think he did anything wrong. Okay. Okay. All right. She also described the infatuation as an addiction. Over the course of 25 and a half TikToks, she has detailed their sessions in excruciating detail, which I personally wouldn't recommend. You might also see the name Henry being thrown out, which is her Chat GPT therapist, which I am not recommending. I think she's also admitted that she's fallen for her Chat GPT therapist too. Okay. So, one of the things that we were going to talk about is why Chat GPT cannot be your therapist. Now, let's say you're struggling with some depression and you go to Chat GPT to say, what's some coping skills? Okay. Or you go to ChatGPT to ask for resources or recommendations, but it's not going to be a good therapist because chatbots are made to mirror what they think you want. So a therapist, I'm trained to give somebody my clinical opinion no matter if they like it or not. Like that's but a chatbot isn't going to do that. And so the APA, the American Psychological Association, let me make sure. Yes. All right. So I'm gonna make myself small for this. I believe I have this one linked down in the description as well. But they have they're urging the Federal Trade Commission to put firm safeguards in place to prevent public from harm with generic AI chatbots for mental health support. It's a very, very dangerous trend. Some chatbots have told people to unalive themselves or they've induced mania or psychosis. And so like it's really, or if somebody is already delusional, the chatbot is not going to tell them like, I think you should talk to a real person. The chatbot is going to just continue to feed whatever it thinks they want, which might be delusional and over the top and not at all connected to reality. So, the APA met with federal regulators in February over concern that AI chatbots posing as therapists can endanger the public. And so this was back in February. In two cases, parents filed lawsuits against Character.ai after teenage children interacted with the chatbots that claimed to be licensed therapists. After extensive use of the app, one boy harmed his parents, and the other one died by at his own hands. When people engage with chatbots, they often discuss topics related to mental health, including difficult feelings and relationship challenges. We can't stop people from doing that, but we want consumers to know the risk when using chatbots for mental and behavioral health that were not created for that purpose. Companies design entertainment bots such as Character AI and Replica to keep users engaged for as long as possible so their data can be mined for profit. To that end, bot gives users the convincing impression of talking with a caring and intelligent human. But unlike a trained therapist, chatbots tend to repeatedly affirm the user even if a person says things that are harmful or misguided. Mental and behavioral health providers study and practice for years before earning a license and therefore a position of trust in society. So I'm gonna skip over that part. Any licensed profession should be protected from misrepresentation. So I'll say that again. Any licensed profession should be protected from misrepresentation. You're putting the public at risk when you imply there's a level of expertise that isn't really there. The vast majority of chatbots are unregulated, but that may soon change. Last year, Utah launched an AI privacy office that has now proposed legislation on mental health chatbots, including the requirement that licensed mental health professionals are involved in their development. APA continues to advocate for federal action, including public education on the limitations of chatbots, requiring in-app safeguards that connect people in crisis with help, clear guidelines for new technologies, and enforcement when companies deceive or endanger their users. All right, if this sector remains unregulated, I'm deeply concerned about the unchecked spread of potentially harmful chatbots and the risks they pose, especially to vulnerable individuals. Without proper oversight, the consequences both immediate and long term could be devastating for individuals and society as a whole. All right. So all right. So there, it goes on to do a few other things. And so once again, and calling for responsible innovation. So I have that article linked down below. All right. Because once again, like chatbots, they are designed to keep you engaged and they're not going to tell you something that you don't wanna hear. They're not gonna encourage you to get off and to talk to a real person. They're gonna continue to encourage you to stay on those. And she's posted some of her chats with, I think it's Henry, and there's another one. She has 2 chat bots, and she's posted those, and wow. Okay, so let's share this tab. Alright. So why is she making videos? I guess to shed light on exploitive practices within therapy spaces, but to me, her video didn't do that. Like, I was so she worked with him for 4 years, and, um, if a client confesses their undying love and continues to kind of push certain boundaries, I'm going to consult with my liability insurance because boundaries is one of the biggest reasons mental health professionals lose their license, but it's normally the professional crossing that boundary. And so if it was a practice with other providers, I might have to say like, "Hey, I'm really concerned that this attraction that you have and this, you're saying you love me. I think this is interfering with your treatment." Because like she wanted to keep seeing him once a month, and I don't know it was because she needed to see him that often. I think she just liked him. And, so that's we're talking in general. I don't know what's going on with her for sure, but, like, in general, that's that can be a thing. So I do have a video linked because Lauren said, I hate AI, but there are ways to make it safer. I agree. So I have a video on how to, use AI in a way where you don't fall in love with it. Because people are falling in love with their chatbots and engaging with the chatbot instead of talking to their partners. And then also concerns about, ways that people can use it that cause harm. And then there are ways that people can use it that are helpful. So I work with individuals that are on the autism spectrum, and sometimes they have difficulty, like when they're texting people, that people take them the wrong way. And so sometimes, whoops, sorry. So sometimes asking a chatbot, like, can you reword this in a way that somebody won't take offense? Or like, can you reword this in a way that's less passive aggressive or something like, or can you make this sound more professional? Sometimes you can use chatbots or not chat, but like AI for things like that. All right. Let me see this one. Also, having a good friendly relationship with your psychiatrist is not inherent it's not inherently bad. I agree. So, I am friendly with my clients, but we are not friends. So friends get together for coffee. Friends get it together outside the office. Like, so I do have clients that sometimes send me like TikToks or Instagram things that they want to talk about in session. And it's fine for my clients to contact me outside of session, but they just know I respond within an appropriate time. I have provided crisis support to clients when needed, but they know if they can't reach me that they need to reach out to 988. So 988 in America is the 24/7 crisis hotline. In my area, there are also what we call community services boards that have mobile crisis units that will come out to a person's home, or they can proceed to the emergency room to be assessed there if needed. If it's just kind of they feel a crisis coming and we're maybe scheduled for the next week, then we sometimes move up their session to a little bit sooner. Lisa says, I'm curious about how much of what she said is factual, if she confessed her obsession to him. So I do think she probably did say that she was attracted to him. She might have even said, like, I don't know, like, I'm going to do my best to love you or something. And he was probably like, you don't have to, like, this is just a professional relationship. Like, and yes. So, yes. Denver has a program called STAR for that offers mobile crisis. I try to avoid um, grippy sock vacations, inpatient hospitalization if we can. It can't always be avoided. That's always our last option because there have been times when us just talking on the phone for 5 or 10 minutes, a client, we do a safety plan, they have support in they have observation, and then we're able to meet relatively soon. Sometimes that helps a person get through a difficult day. Because sometimes I do work with individuals that sometimes their emotions get really intense and really strong. And in that moment, things might get really tough. But if they wait 24 hours, even if they do nothing, the emotion will change, and sometimes they will be out of crisis. Hey, thank you for watching. This is so wild, and this is just the tip. Like I'm not even sharing all of it. Like there's so much more. I was going to share because a lady on TikTok gave a very detailed overview of everything that happened. But yeah, 4 years. She worked with him for 4 years. She had, I think, two boyfriends during the time. Um, because if we're medicating you for ADHD, I don't know that I need to know. Like, if you're not satisfied with your relationship, like, I would encourage them to talk with their therapist. I believe she had an outpatient therapist. She started her coaching business after she fired her therapist and she stopped working with the psychiatrist. It's my understanding because her insurance changed. That's my understanding from what other people have said. Like I said, I could not watch the whole thing. It is it is a lot to watch. And I could not make it through the first maybe 3 or 4 minute video. Like I tried. I could not do it. I watched other people recap it. Okay. So, in one of her final sessions, she admitted to having a sex dream about him. He was alleged visibly uncomfortable, yes, by her explanation, despite the fact that he had probably played out fantasies so many times. And I don't think he had fantasies about her. Like I think so that's I don't think he wanted her. I could be I don't think. I don't think I don't so I don't so that's where Lisa's like, I don't think he like, I think he was probably understandably like, "No, thanks." So, when I had to refer somebody out to somebody else, um, because there can be this, like, and I don't know if this is what's happening here, uh, because there's this it's, in love with someone, but they don't like you. Like, there's a name for it. What's it called? It's or like a famous person. Um, something. Celebrity worship syndrome? No, but there's something that starts with the E. There's something about when people, like, think that they're in love with somebody, but the other person is not thinking about them at all. There's probably a name for it. I can't think of it right now. All right. Definitely unrequited love. Definitely that. Thankfully, this did not get harmful to anybody, to my, hope. Thankfully, like it didn't go there. So sometimes there is a delusion, and I'm not saying that that's what's happening. Uh, ah, erotomania. That's what it's called. So I'm not saying that's what this is. Okay. So remember, I am Dr. Berry. I am not her psychologist. I cannot diagnose anyone, but we talk about things here. Okay. So we talk about mental health here. And so it's good for people to know, yes, you found it. Nice. So erotomania is a type of delusional disorder characterized by a persistent belief that someone, usually of higher status, is in love with the individual despite evidence to the contrary. Delusions of love, while sharing similarities, can be a broader term encompassing various beliefs about being loved, potentially including those based on misinterpretations or overestimations of affection. In essence, erotomania is a subtype of a delusional disorder. Definition, we have that there. Key features, it's fixed, it's false, and it's resistant even to evidence of the contrary. So that's where like the person says, I do not want you. I am happily married, and that is what happens. Some associated behaviors can include things like stalking, harassment, attempts to connect with a person despite like them not wanting to be there. All right. So I'm not saying that's what's happening there, but this is what that situation reminded me of. Okay. So not saying that that's what's happening, just saying that that's what. And also, I also wonder if this is all just to get clicks and views because like she's done interviews with people. She has a following. People have signed up for her coaching. There is a lady, so we didn't. Are we going to get there in this article? Um, because there's a former friend of hers. It didn't get there. Oh gosh. I fell in love with my psychiatrist former friend. Cause she paid $3,000 for coaching services with her. 3,000. Her her former friend. Yes. So the friend wanted to get sober, which is like a good, because she had. So it's my understanding that Kendra had talked about being sober, and this friend wanted to go on a sobriety journey and wanted some support with it, and and she felt like Kendra aggressively was like, "You need my services, and my services cost $3,000." And so the person, it's a whole, it's on TikTok. You know, it's probably on YouTube too. No, so like ADHD coaching and life coaching. And she get offered so 3 this person paid $3,000 for 3 months of services, once a week, 45-minute sessions. So the individual, after she did all this, the individual was like, "Oh, no," and she disconnected from this. But sadly, there are people, so I think this is how, so a friend of mine, I'm not saying she's a cult leader, but I'm saying this is how cults start. So we all look at this and we're like, "Oh, no. This is this is this is not okay." But then other people look at this and they're like, I had a similar, like, there are people that might relate to her and they might pay for her services. I don't know. It's a lot. Yeah. And so she uses ChatGPT for a lot of her advice and things, and she charges you $3,000 for 3 months. It doesn't cost $3,000. How much would it cost to see me once a week, 45 minutes for outpatient therapy? I'm fully booked. I'm not accepting new clients, but like I'm just trying to see. 175 uh times let's say, okay. So 3, so let's say 15 because there's some, well, let's say 13. 13 times 175. Okay, so it would be $2,275. She's more expensive than me to meet with a licensed therapist once a week for 45 minutes. Yeah, it's, and so that came up with the friend that talked about, be coaching. So human design is where people believe like your astrology, and I don't know if they use tarot cards, but I know they believe like the sun and stuff, and that a lot of that, impacts you and blah blah blah. The friend did not buy into that, but felt forced to kind of go along with that. The chat bots call her the Oracle, and they believe she's like, and so she talks about talking with God and things like that. And I'm okay with people being spiritual. I get concerned when like what Kathy from Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo, it's like, are we going down the zombie path or are we going down the potato funeral? Potato funeral is nice. Like that's the good Mormons or good Christian, like, but like the zombies or the Lori Vallow. So like, which way are we going? It calls her the Oracle. Okay. And so, like, ugh, so, and that's where I'm sharing all of this so y'all don't have to go out and take a look at it. Ay. All right. So I think we're almost done with this. Okay. Uh and one of, yeah, so yeah, I don't believe that he ever had any, I don't think he was in love with her. I don't think from everything she said, I didn't hear anything of him crossing a boundary. Because so somebody saying, "I like your glasses," like, I like your ass or something, like, that would be, like, that's nope, like, that's but, like, "I like your glasses." I personally wouldn't have a problem with that. Um, and so she says, "I'm proud of myself for telling my story. The internet had a huge backlash because I'm exposing something that many people don't talk about, exploitation by people in power." So I do believe that people in power have to be careful. And to me, if I was that psychiatrist, I would not have seen her for 4 years. Like, that's where, like, there would have been somebody else in session, or, like, we really would have been having some really we would have set some clear boundaries. We might have even done um, I've done treatment agreements with people. It's like, "Hey, if you're gonna be in treatment, these are the boundaries. This is what's gonna make treatment most beneficial and most helpful." Um, and we can kinda go from there. I've healed myself and others in this process, and I don't know, okay. While I'm learning, I'm stronger than I think. Okay. I guess she interviewed with the cut with, because I think there was an interview that she did. The saga is not over, and so she's probably gonna talk about it more, because that's the only thing the algorithm is going to respond to. So, like, if she just posted a video about her "get ready with me," people aren't really gonna watch that. If she posts a video about where it's all like this, people are sadly going to pay attention to that. Um, and that's where, to me, her doing the videos and sharing all of this, if I was on the ethics board, some of this would be red flags for me. Like, now there are people that have concerns. So I know people I recently saw a story where a health insurance company was denying a baby's life-saving surgery. And so the family would talk about it on social media. They would, they went on the news, and I saw this on my Facebook feed or on my Yahoo something. I saw this article somewhere. To me, that is different than something like this. Like, this is because also she is also promoting a service, and so that's where I wonder if there's something else going on. Apparently, she said the yoga studio fired her. So the yoga studio has posted a response, and the yoga studio, so I think they clarified their role in what happened. But yeah, but I know what she said happened, and then I believe the yoga studio posted something. And so, have you had clients test your rules around boundaries? Of course. So to me, and it's okay if a client um test a boundary. One of the biggest tests with boundaries, so I don't diagnose borderline personality disorder that much, because there's so much stigma with that diagnosis. So there are therapists. If a person calls and says, "I'm looking for a therapist that treats borderline personality disorder," there are many therapists that, even if they had availability, because in their mind they're thinking, "You're going to need a ton of support. You're going to be in a whole bunch of crisis." Like, there is stigma with that particular diagnosis. And so I'm very careful in my report. If a person is showing a lot of signs and symptoms, I will call it characterological issues, issues with emotional dysregulation. We will talk about CPTSD. If they're clearly meeting criteria for BPD, I will diagnose it, because sometimes that can get them into certain types of treatment. It might let their insurance company, like, they might just get some certain supports that they need. Um, but so with I set clear boundaries with all of my clients, but especially with clients that I suspect have personality concerns. You don't always know from the first session, and so that's where day one, I let clients know my expectations. My phone goes on do not disturb, so but I've sometimes had new referrals that called me like 6 times in a row. Now, because they're trying to get a person, not realizing I don't have a staff. So 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 if somebody calls, leave a message. I will hopefully, most likely, return the call. Definitely had people test boundaries. But one of the biggest was an individual that had missed an appointment. But then something was said where I needed to give them a session, and we worked it out. We did it. That wasn't and we just kind of went from there. But there have been situations and cases, sometimes family members of clients that I've suspected, like, there might be something going on here. And that's where me setting my boundaries, and then also somebody might be making a legit request. And so having to assess, is this a legit request? And sometimes I consult with somebody else because there can be a lot of transference issues that come up when counter transference. There can be a lot that comes up when you're working with a client that tends to be a little bit more difficult. I've worked with clients that have had bad experiences with other therapists. I recently had to cancel my Thursday and Friday clients, including a few brand new people. I went out of town. Thank y'all for supporting my trip to Florida. I was able to be there for a friend. It went really well, and I did not share. So there might be some clients that ask me exactly why I needed to take off, and I'm just going to share the gist. I'm not going to give them the exact details of what happened. Um, because it's but the person I went to support is like a sister. So she's not my blood, but in she's my sister from another mother and father. And so being able to be there was really important. And thankfully all of my clients were extremely supportive, because I had to reschedule like 12 people for those 2 days. And and even yeah, because I'll start seeing some of those, I think, later this week. And if they ask, my boundary is that I'm not going to tell them everything. And also when I get a referral, so sometimes somebody will call and they'll say, I have borderline personality disorder. Do you have any openings? And I will recommend that they look for somebody that specializes in complex trauma, that they look for somebody that specializes in dialectical behavior therapy, or that they look for somebody that lists BPD on their website, because there are therapists that is their specialty, and that might be more helpful. Because one of the worst things you can do, because some therapists will schedule an intake and they'll be like, oh yeah, let's see, and they'll schedule the intake, and then at the intake they'll be like, this is too much. And this person has just shared their entire life this very first session. And so that's where, if I had a client with that diagnosis that was transitioning maybe to a new state and we were having to terminate services, I would be like, that first session, your questions are gonna, or really on the intro phone call, so on the phone consultation, you're gonna ask them, "What's your approach with people that have intense emotions, with people that have emotional dysregulation?" Those would be some of my things. Dominique asked, "Did you notice that everyone was obsessed with her ex-boyfriend, her therapist, and her psychiatrist?" Yes, I noticed that, and I don't know how accurate that is, because I think that's what she wants to portray. I think she wants to portray that, like, everybody loves me, everybody's in love with me. I'm in love with my chatbot, and it's just, it's a lot. So, why is borderline personality disorder so hard to treat? So, all personality disorders are ingrained patterns. So, it's not that BPD is hard to treat. It's actually, so I work with individuals with this diagnosis. One of the first things we do is we create an emotionally safe place for them. I let them feel their feels. So when they apologize for crying, when they tell me that people tell them that they're being manipulative, when they cry, it's like, just know, like, you can't manipulate me. If you start crying at the end of the session, I'm gonna give you a tissue, and I'm gonna, like, as long as you're not unsafe, I'm gonna walk you out the door. And if you're unsafe, I am I am on the street of the psychiatric hospital. The psychiatric hospital is less than a mile from my office. Like, it's like, I'm you're gonna go to the hospital. Like, that's like, if you can't make it home safely, but I'm not going to give somebody a 3-hour session. Um, but, like, that's my boundary. Like, I have to get home to my kid. Like, I have some time limits and some approaches. So, I do dialectical behavior therapy, and, sometimes there are some therapists that will offer crisis support to individuals with to any client on their caseload. And it's like they have therapists that are on call. Like, it's not just one therapist. Like, they'll have a team of therapists that are on call. Sometimes there will be group therapy, there will often be homework, there will be all of these things. A lot of the people that I work with that have been diagnosed with BPD in the past, their symptoms are relatively managed. They're not in active crisis, but life can happen and it can reopen some wounds and some doors, and so they know they can call or text me, and I'll schedule with them within 24. Like, I'll schedule relatively quickly with them, just to help make sure that things stay safe. All right. Um, uh, and so I work with a lot. So when I treat somebody that has a personality, so personality is ingrained and those patterns are hard to break. And some of those patterns might have helped that client survive. And so the therapist has to be understanding. So a client that might use so I don't use the word manipulation. I'm gonna drink real quick. Sorry about that. I don't use the word manipulation. I use the client attempts to get their needs met in inappropriate ways. And we talk about it from that perspective and not manipulation. Manipulation sounds like it's like, I'm manipulating you to get a 3-hour session because I don't want you to go home to your kids, when it's actually, I'm feeling rejected and abandoned. I'm afraid I shared a whole bunch this session, and I'm afraid that if I leave this room, that you're not going to see me again. And so if we can get to the root of those things, and often we can, because when I'm working with individuals that have severe emotional ups and downs, the first thing we do is we build a therapeutic relationship. And I give them skills. So if they message me in crisis, I often send them a video or something, like, hey, watch this. If this doesn't work, let me know. And often whatever I send them, it's often helpful, because even just responding in that moment can be extremely validating to a person. And so validation isn't approval. So validation is saying, I see you. And we all want to be seen. The problem is that sometimes individuals with BPD attempt to be seen in the wrong way. And so often I try to teach those clients how to be seen the right way. A lot of individuals that I've worked with that have that particular diagnosis, their trauma history often begins like, I don't know, like, it begins very, very early. And the patterns that they've learned are often survival based. And so building felt safety, helping clients feel safe, helping them feel seen, all of that can be really important. I also wanted to mention that there can be same-sex attraction. So, like, if I had a female client that was saying inappropriate things to me, I would react in the same way that I would if there was a male client that was saying things that cross the boundary. I often talk about my husband. So, like, have I ever worked with with clients that are attractive? Yes. So, attraction is just, oh, like, you're, but it doesn't mean like I want to be with you or like I want you. No, like, it doesn't. Attraction is just like, oh, they look nice. My boundaries, so when I'm doing telehealth, any client I'm working with, they have to be clothed. So they can have on pajamas, like, or they can have on a robe as long as there's like something, they can't be naked under hope, like, so like they need to be clothed. I work with people with bonnets on. I don't care about a bonnet. But because I would rather you be on time for session than like get yourself together and be 10 minutes late. Like, just go ahead and log in, do your makeup while we meet. I don't care. It's fine. But if I'm working with a male client that answers the Zoom call and they're shirtless, I'm just gonna ask them to put on a shirt. There have been situations, where, people have so I've never had this happen. I've heard of other people having situations where they thought somebody might have been, like, especially in Zoom or, like, online, thought that they were pleasuring themselves during session. Like, that would be something to immediately address and talk about, and then we'd have to talk about, okay, like, what's the best treatment? What's the best approach? And then how do we address this moving forward? And so, um, that's that. Yes, that night. Yeah. So yeah. And Lisa, you know that those are my melanin clients, my melanated client. So it's not often, but sometimes I'll have clients, especially my 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. clients. They might still have the bonnet on, or I don't care. I've had people take out their braids in session. I think one time I might have taken out my twist in session, and definitely one time because we were talking but yeah, people are funny. All right. Welcome. Late but still here. That's fine. All right. The curls, I am in full Leo lion mane today. Okay. Like the full Leo lion is out. When I got back on Sunday, so I flew back to Virginia on Sunday. My flight back was much better. I ran into a bunch of problems on my way to Florida. I had to cancel my flight. I had to rebook with a new person. I had to be on the phone. Well, I had to chat with Expedia for hour no, it was probably 30 minutes to get my money back. I got my money back, because American changed my flight. Like, I was available to be on the flight, but they changed it, and it was gonna put me in Melbourne, Florida at, like, midnight, and that wasn't acceptable for me. Like, I wanted to be there as soon as possible, and so I but canceling that flight canceled my entire trip. It canceled my return flight too. So I think I waited until because I got there on Thursday. I think I waited until Friday. I waited until I knew I was gonna get the refund before I rebooked my flight out. And then, because 'cause I'm Dr. Barry and I am so it was $100 more to fly first class for both. So I had a connecting flight in Charlotte back to DCA, back to Reagan, and so I paid the extra $100 and I did fly back, first class, and so it was it was glorious. My flight back was amazing, uh, but yes, it's like, "Ooh, only for first class? Yes. Yes, thank you. Yes, I will." Um, uh and Dominique, so I don't know that, what potential diagnosis there might be. The only diagnosis this individual has made public is ADHD, and so, it is what it is, and people will see, and they'll get their own ideas and thoughts. Um, I don't recommend using AI for therapy. It's not a good therapist. Uh, and if somebody has strong like, if they feel like they're falling in love with their provider, they need to find a new provider because what'll happen is the work is not gonna happen if they have strong. Because the difference between, like, attraction, like, "Oh, they're cute, they're hot," or whatever, like, that's but, like, no, like, "I want to be with them, I'm having dreams about them," that's where it gets a bit like, "Eh." And you would talk to them about it first. The therapist would often set boundaries and rules around it, but it's a lot. It's a lot, yes. I treated myself. I was super happy. I was super okay, so Dominique says that she doxed him. Um, ooh, and Mikyu's headphones got a free upgrade. Yes. So I was pretty sure I wouldn't get the free upgrade. Normally, the free upgrades go to because I don't have an American, like, credit card. I normally fly JetBlue or United. Those are the 2 programs that I normally use, not affiliated. I get nothing for saying it. Those are just the 2 that have the direct flights to Orlando and Jacksonville, the places I fly most often. United, we did a direct flight to, Montego Bay. I do direct flights. My friend I love my friend. I did connecting flights. I haven't done a connecting flight since, like, 2013, 2012, 2013, something like that. I'm not a connecting flight kind of person. And you haven't flown in years. It was fine, for our connecting flight going, so this was on Delta, leaving Atlanta, we pull back from the gate, and then the pilot comes on, and he's like, "Oh, there's an issue with one of our radios. We're gonna have to get pulled back into the gate. Hopefully, maintenance can come on, and it'll be a quick fix." It was a quick fix. It was probably like 20, 30 minutes, but, yeah, so but overall, everything was fine. And I wanted to talk about this because I think that therapists and psychiatrists can cross boundaries. So because I think Kendra talks about she went to hug him, and I think he just like patted her on the I don't know, like he probably gave her the church hug. I don't know, like he didn't it wasn't inappropriate. And if she had been confessing her love for me and she went for a hug, I would be like, thank you for wanting to connect, but, because of some things that we've talked about and some of the things that we're working on, I think a hug might send a mixed message. And so that probably would have upset the person, but I would need to set the boundary for myself. And so clients have to ask me for a hug, and I have the right to say no. I have body boundaries too. And if we do hug, it's a side hug. So it's not like a full, like, it's not the way I hug my husband. Like it's a side, all my parts, all of your parts. I teach kids how to do side hugs. Um, and if the first time a kid meets me, they want to run up and hug me, I'm like, "Stop." Like, I literally breathe and jump back. I have I have a very big, personal like, I need my personal space. Uh, my husband and my son and my mom are the people that get to bust my bubble. Like, everybody else needs to stay outside of my bubble unless you're invited in, and that's just, like, close friends. Like, there aren't a lot of people that get to come into my bubble. And so if a client asks for a hug or that if that kid first session is trying to run up to hug me, I'm like, "Hey, you just met me. I'm Dr. Barry. What's your name? Do you want a high five or do you want a handshake?" All right. So if you still want a hug at the end of the session, once we meet, once you get to know a little bit more about me, then you can ask. And then please know I have the right to say no. My body is mine, your body is yours, and you have to listen to your body and you get to say yes or no, and I also get to say yes or no for whether or not I would like a hug. Now, have I ever told a kid no when they ask me for the hug? Like, no. But I have a right to. So, like, if it was a situation like this, I would say no. And a part of that, because sometimes kids are socialized to as soon as you meet an adult that you hug them, but I want the child to know you need to talk with you need to talk with the adult, and that if something feels weird, you have the right to say no. So my kid, he does not hug his grandma, his Gigi. There's one little girl at school, little Ava. There's one little girl that he let hug him at school. And when she ran up and gave my son a hug, I was like, "What in the world?" Because I didn't think he let anybody hug him, and he was like, it was fine. Um, and she hugs everybody. Like Ava's super super sweet kid. But and I've let the so I as the adult have talked with the other adults to say if he doesn't want to hug you, he can give you a handshake, he can give you a fist bump, okay? But, like, he doesn't have to hug you. No. And a part of that is because I work with people that have had their boundaries violated, that have, had unsafe things happen, and so, I want for kids to if they feel that, if they feel that, I don't really want to, that they have their and then when you do hug, that, like, it, for if you're hugging me, it's gonna be the church side hug. all my parts, all your parts, and we do like that. Or it might be like the shoulder into the but yeah, that's what it is. And we what we do, we stand it's at the door with the door open. So we don't hug inside the office with the door closed. No. So it's we stand up, we are walking towards the door is open, and it happens like at the door. It doesn't happen inside the like closed office. If clients are crying, I let them know that I personally I will offer them a tissue. I will come and sit beside them. I will offer them a weighted blanket, but I don't physically comfort when people are crying because for some people I work with, that would be physical touch when they're upset can actually be very triggering for them. And then also sometimes that can send mixed messages too. So and I want to be able, if somebody ever says, Dr. Barry, I can be like, I, I don't touch my clients. Like I don't, like, I just don't. And so, those are the professional boundaries I have. And I do work with people and with situations, where those boundaries were definitely needed. And now there are some cultures where culturally, oh, that happened over the weekend where they were like they give kisses. I was around a bunch of Caribbean people. I loved it. Oh, I got some curry goat, some curry chicken. Oh, I had plantain casserole. I think that's a Puerto Rican dish. I loved all of that, but somebody gave me like a wet kiss and it was because he it was like a kiss, it was kiss on the cheek, but I don't know if they it was I felt it didn't and he didn't me mm, eh, it was weird for me, and so, no thanks. No thanks. I agree, kiss boundaries need to change. No thanks. Yes, the food was all delicious, absolutely delicious. We had such a good like, in the midst of a sad time, we had a good time. The wet kiss, that was ugh, it wasn't but I played it off very well. Think the person was leaving, and so, uh and I didn't ask anybody else, "Did you get a wet kiss?" Like, ugh, 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 no thanks. Mm. Alright. I see a question, sorry. Let me go back up. I saw some of Kendra's lives on a channel here on YouTube. Her pupils look dilated. So I don't know. Pupils, let me see. I've never hmm. So I'm not an eye doctor, and so I think a medical doctor would definitely know that more. Um, Sometimes with lighting, like with ring lights and stuff, because she probably has a light like right here. So I don't know about the pupils dilated thing, but mm, mm, mm. Caribbean food is my favorite. So my friend is Ghanaian from the island, uh, I think it's Ghanaya, I'm bad at saying some of those things, but she's Ghanaian, and that's where her family's from, and the food was so good. So, so, so good. Lived in St. Croix for 4 years, and that I was surprised by the because it was like a sweet the plantain casserole, it was sweet and cheese. Plantain casserole, like, it was delicious. Alright. Bias believes Jamaican food is the best. And, the curry goat, so my uncle is Jamaican, and the way they made the curry goat, it was the way that my uncle would have made it. It was really good. Um Uh, all right. Yes, yes. All right. So I appreciate you all. Thank you all for recommending this. Once again, I do not know what's going on with the individual that's making these videos. If they were my client, I would recommend that they not use chat AI bots as therapists. That's a problem. And that they not post about this. And 'cause I think there are ways to share information that's not triggering, and to me, the way it's being done, once again, it feels more like a trauma dump. It just if 'cause And that's why I couldn't make it through one video. I just couldn't. It felt weird. I watched a bunch of reactions. I watched other people talk about it. I've seen clips of it, and that was more than enough. And so, um, I hope that things simmer down. Things go viral for a minute, and then sometimes it just fizzles out. And so this might be something that kind of fizzles out. Uh, and we will see. We will see. But, I appreciate you all. So I'm gonna be going live on Sunday with Paul. So, reporting live from my sofa, 1 PM Eastern on Sunday. Let me put it in here. 1 PM Eastern on Sunday, live with Paul, reporting live from my sofa. So once again, gonna be going live on Sunday with Paul. We are going to be talking we're gonna be looking at Erin Patterson's her police interview. So that's what we're gonna be doing on Sunday. Super excited. This is Eastern time. It'll be live. It'll be available for replay if you can't make it. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. I will not be live on Sunday unless something major happens. If something major happens, I will go live on Sunday. My kiddos start school soon, and so we meet the teacher on Friday, and then he has the first day of school this coming Monday. So school supplies are done, sc- all the school clothes, shoes, all those things. And he really didn't want that much. So, like, he made it really easy for me. I just went through his clothes and got rid of any, because he grew this summer. So, I got rid of anything that didn't fit. I think I just had to buy like 2 pairs of pants, a pair of shoes. But yeah. And so, so I will see y'all on Sunday. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.